What do you do as an artist when a global pandemic changes everything? How do you maintain a spirit of the show must go on when it can't? How does collaboration happen between artists and production team members when you can't be in a rehearsal space or a theater together? How do you build chemistry with your scene partner or feed off of an audience's reaction when you are sheltering in place?
Firebird Motel was to be the final opera of our season at SFCM, and rehearsals were already well underway when Shelter in Place was announced. My music staff and I, Sunny and Dana, we'd already completed all of our music rehearsals, and the cast was ready to go. They were ready to begin staging.
Since we couldn't continue with our production as planned, I reached out to our cast as well as our technical director and set designer and asked them all if they would be interested in making a new version of our show using our existing set design but blending film and stage technique to make something we had never done before. Something that would allow our singers to perform arias and other key moments of the opera on our set, be it a virtual set.
First and foremost, the goal was to serve our students, to try to find some way to make music even at a distance. This crisis struck at the very busiest time of our opera season at SFCM, so it was extremely difficult for us, faculty, and for our students to have to shut everything down at that pivotal moment.
Firebird Motel is an opera about isolation, fear, death, and hope. It was ironically the perfect piece to be working on during the pandemic, as we all could relate now to the desolation and loneliness of the characters. Our students had returned to their homes throughout the US and Canada and were beginning to adjust to life in this new normal.
How do we make art when we can't even be in the same room together?
Our rules aren't the rules that they teach in schools. The uncivil son doesn't suffer fools.
The day that our school shut down was the day that I was supposed to have my final dress rehearsal for the Baroque opera. And it was pretty disappointing that I didn't even get to do the dress rehearsal. And then our show that was supposed to be live streamed was canceled for obvious reasons. And it's just crazy how quickly the world changed.
Just getting in the mood to do something within my house, getting in character inside my house, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know how to be that person that I am on stage here.
What could I say she could hope for today?
So since we last spoke, both my dad and my sister got COVID-19, and things got pretty intense in the house, but I'm really thankful for how our community came around us. People were asking to go to the grocery store for us, dropping off things, and I really saw what's important.
This has been the scariest time for me. My mom does have COVID-19 and has been in the hospital now for a week and a half. Whenever I'm home visiting her and my dad, I always love to sing for them and with them because they're both pianists. So I've started to sing to my mom over FaceTime, and my goodness, I have realized while my mom has had this extremely tough battle with COVID-19 that it's times like these where music really heals. I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Beautiful! I love you, Mama. I love you, Grandma.
During our project, the extraordinary David Conte, the composer of Firebird Motel, shared with us some background on the libretto and his musical influences when writing this piece.
Musical influences on the opera, as you listen to the various numbers. There is, of course, a whole genre of film called cinema noir, or film noir. And I very much love this genre of film, films like Double Indemnity, Touch of Evil, Laura. This very much influenced the libretto and the story. It's a very American genre. David Yezzi ended up writing the libretto, and I think it's really one of the best librettos in English that's been written. I think that the musical style is a kind of hybrid between musical theater and opera, and that has really to do with the quality and character of the story.
And I looked down on him as I was dying.
It has unity of time and place. The entire action takes place in the lobby of a motel in the Mojave Desert. It starts late Christmas Eve evening and ends at dawn on Christmas Day. This is a great advantage, the kind of compression and focus that unity of time and place can give the composer. And it was one reason I was able to compose the opera really rather quickly, both to compose it and orchestrate it within 3 months.
Clouds dim, the stars tonight.
I'd love to see Valentina's. As a stage director for opera, my favorite part of my job is when the artists and production team come together and collaborate in rehearsal. Since our singers had been silenced by the pandemic, making the best use of existing technology for the rehearsal process was the only way to try and give them their voice back. This path that we would work on together, I think individually, because this is such a unique experience, could be a very compelling piece of art. Good, Taylor. Can you pause it for a second? Lovely. Very nice. You have a lot of, you're so expressive, which is so wonderful. You have a lot of more opportunities in there, though, to fill with detail. Yep. Such as an example. Then I felt hot and numb all over. What? I need to see that she has a measure and a quarter rest to feel what that felt like.
Yeah.
Kurt Pyer, our conductor and music director, also faced obstacles as he had to utilize an app so the singers could have the experience of following a conductor layered in with the accompaniment the singers would use to make their own audio track.
So the most difficult part of the process is conducting in silence, trying to imagine the singers and the orchestra. I hadn't even rehearsed with the orchestra to Firebird before the break. But I mean, the whole reason any of us get involved in opera is to make music with other people. So it's really hard to do this without being able to feed off of their energy and their breathing. So now I'm going to try to watch myself conducting in the iPhone, which as you can see is quite small, and to play along with it. And even though I'm the one who just conducted it, it's very hard for me to figure out how to follow sometimes, because we're used to looking at someone life-size out of the corner of our eye. But I basically had to put the phone right in the middle of the music. It's very hard to turn the pages, so it's frustrating. I spent the whole weekend messing around again and still with a cappella, and it was becoming more and more clear that I was not going to be able to do what I needed to do. So I gently asked the music staff if either of them might consider coming into the school this week some point to play the excerpts so that I could conduct in real time. And Sonny was actually glad to come in. So I'm excited today because that's where I'm going. I'm going to 50 Oak because for the first time in several weeks I'm actually going to get to make music with a live person.
Unlucky and young.
Once the artists felt confident with their characters, it was time for them to make their own audio track.
The missing don't complain, and their song is always the same.
You cry, but you have your way.
All right, everybody, and places. Nope, just me.
Our students, along with the help of their families, were their own production crew. Camera positions, sound levels, lighting, makeup and costume responsibilities were all on the students to manage. The idea was to put each singer on a makeshift green screen and light it as well as possible with whatever they had at their disposal.
Beggars and choosers, they come in and I catch them on the way down.
Because we were placing singers eventually on a virtual set, they had to first film each take from their phones or cameras and upload it for notes. They would then film their final take while listening to their pre-recorded audio track. And to make the best experience for the viewer, we needed each take from 3 different camera angles. This was quite an undertaking. We then took the students' footage and audio tracks, and Peter and Frederick and I went into post-production.
So what we've been able to do is take this virtual model, light it virtually, film it virtually. Once we had the virtual scenery rendered in CAD and lit through various different parts of CAD and other things, we put it in After Effects. We filmed it virtually from 3 different angles.
The positive thing about this project is that this was a very cutting-edge project. I haven't seen anything like it yet, and I'm going to show you how it comes in. So it comes in with what you see in gray is transparent, and then we color corrected this to match the background of the 3D model, then added shadow. Then they get inserted into a scene. For instance, this is a part of the prologue, and this is done in 3D.
So then we had to figure out, where do we put the actor in the scenery? So Heather, our director, discovered that she was also going to become the storyboard artist for this project. So she generated these storyboards that showed how wide the shot should be, where the actors were placed in relation to each other, in relation to the scenery, whether it was a side view or a front view, etc., etc. So all the kind of things you'd have in a regular storyboard. We then took that information and literally moved the actors around in the setting so that they looked like they were there together. This was particularly difficult in some of these scenes, like especially the duets, where you had 2 actors with different cameras filming themselves in different places, and we're trying to make it look as if they are together in a room, relating to each other in this fairly realistic scenery. It's pretty exciting to work on a new form of art, something that will allow us to continue to pursue our craft while we can't gather together. It's a way of furthering our way of making art during this time.
We could not be prouder to have created this project with and for our students. The amount of concentration on the part of the artists and the production team to make this happen under such unique and challenging conditions is commendable. For us, art is not just a job, it is what keeps us going.
It's 9:15.
Why am I an artist? I was asked to sing Amazing Grace at the funeral of a woman. Amazing Grace. But when it switched to when we've been there 10,000 years, there was just something in the room that really brought us all together. And I felt the hurt with them. And that changed me. It made me realize that we are up here making art. That is a song that I had sung a bajillion times before that. And I did not know it could have that impact. But in that moment, it became clear to me just how important what we do is.
I've always loved performing so much. To me, being an artist, it's been part of who I am. It's sort of how I view the world, and I think no matter what I'm doing, I always take that perspective with me.
I'm an artist because I love to communicate, and singing and performing is a way that I send my ideas, my feelings, my personal expression, my artistic expression. That is a way that I communicate.
As opera singers, we're so used to performing in really large spaces and adapting our performance style for that space. So it's a really interesting experience to get to work in a medium that's so up close. As a performer, it really forces you to get really specific with your character choices, and you have to be honest and authentic and in the moment.
Whatever you do here, whatever you say here, whatever you see here, let it stay here.
His promise to the hungry.
So it's interesting now to see how far I've come and learned some things that will help me in the future. Once we started doing those a cappella recordings through that app, it became a lot more real that yes, we are doing this production. Yes, it is going to happen. And I am really excited to see our final product and the fruition of all our hard work.
David Yezzi, our librettist, captures what I think many of us are hoping for right now, which is the earth warms with the touch of the sun, which follows even the coldest night with light and consolation.
The sun is rising. The sun is rising. Now it's time
The
to
star
is
I want to go away from here. The morning sky is perfect and blue.
Whatever we do here, whatever we say here,
Whatever we see here, let it stay here.
as bright the star of morning warms with the touch of the
A firebird in folklore is a creature that offers hope through a dark time. We hope that our production offers a glimpse into how art can continue even through this challenging storm.